I did lots of different things to prepare. I think the first key one is looking at the funder, whoever that is, and looking at what they kind of expected an interview, whether that's you have to do a presentation, kind of likely numbers of people that are going to be there. So I would really kind of emphasize looking at that information. That was really, really crucial for preparing for it. The other key thing I would say for me was mock interviews. That was the best thing that I did to prepare. So I'd advise as many as you can do. I think it's doing it with both people that you know, but also people you don't. So you get used to seeing people that you don't recognize ahead of schedule. And that for me was really, really useful. Having questions maybe I hadn't thought about that actually improved my research going forward, but also helps me think about how I would answer a question if I wasn't entirely sure, I wasn't expecting it. So that was really useful. And but for my interview, so I did it through the NIHR doctoral fellowship scheme, and so we had to do a presentation for I think it was 5 minutes in total. And I think that is the one bit of the interview that you have complete control over. So I think it's making sure that it's well prepared in advance, get lots of feedback on it. It's clear and concise, thinking about things like the person, place, project, making sure that's all really clear. I think those were the main things that I did. And then the final thing was just presenting the proposal at any opportunity. So kind of regional kind of academic meetings, those type of things to get feedback and again, just get used to answering those questions. Um, not not really, because as I said, if you look at the guidance, it's pretty clear what the process will be. At least that was my experience. So I knew what I was kind of walking into, oh, or so to speak, because I was doing it during COVID, so it was all online. So I knew what I was kind of going into. I think the only thing that maybe surprised me a little bit was during the interview is the scrutiny and the questions I got around the kind of supervisory team that I've selected, why I'd selected them, the number of people. So I guess I didn't expect maybe them to interrogate that as much as they did. I thought they would really focus in on the project, but they did go into that. So that was something I didn't expect. Yeah, so I think that I've touched on some of them already, but the main one being the mock interviews, arranging as many as you can, both locally and with people you don't know, and also making sure that it's fairly formal, so similar to the process you would envisage when you come to the interview. So kind of waiting in a holding room, being invited in, those just so that it's when you come to the actual interview and it is stressful, that you're prepared for that and you're used to it. Again, if you have to prepare a presentation, that is the one bit that you can control, making sure that you really take your time and think really carefully about that and get lots of feedback. Um, my family and friends won't like this one, but I think it's talk to anyone who will listen to you about your research, so that you can make sure that, say, for example, a PPI member asks you in the interview, you've got a lay summary that's clear, concise, and is easily understandable. So I think that's really useful. But also, is getting that feedback and constant involvement is really useful. And then I think some of the other things is kind of it's being confident. I think ultimately you've got this far to an interview. They like the project. They obviously like you as a potential candidate. So I think you can afford to be confident at that size and really sell yourself and the project. And then the final thing I think is expect to get asked and scrutinized around your public involvement strategy. And I think it kind of just emphasizes the importance of really thinking about that early and being prepared and hopefully that you have spent that time and done that. And I think it's having those discussions with your public involvement team in terms of what kind of questions would a member of the public ask. And that's where some of your speaking to family and friends who will give you or at least my family and friends will give me a fairly honest opinion about things. So I think those would be my top tips. But the number one would be the mock interviews. That was definitely the most helpful.